So for step 21, dampers 1. This is where we're going to put all 3 of the dampers together. So we've got to grab a number of these pieces, the X10, the E-clips, piston rod, etc., and the cylinders. So I've got everything here, all the E-clips we need, the piston rods, all the O-rings, and then of course there are all of the shock pieces we need for this step. So I'll set this up and we'll put this together. So right off the bat, we need to work on this. So we've got these red O-rings and you can see that they want you to oil them up. So I'm going to grab our bottle of oil, put a dab on there, just run it around in my fingers here and put that one in. Take another one, do the same thing and run that around in my fingers and put that into the hole. Now I'm just going to dry off my fingers a bit here. So then we're going to grab one of the end caps, the Y1s, and we're going to turn this and go all the way. Make sure it's nice and tight, and that'll give a nice firm feel, and the oil shouldn't leak out of that. So now with this, well, we've obviously got to put some E-clips on the ends here. So we're going to grab one of the little clips here, if I can get this, and I'm going to put it on the inside one. And as I've shown you before, come on, I will put this on the inside one, use my finger as a brace, grab the pliers, snap it into place. Now we can grab the X10, which has the 3 holes in it, put that on top, and we've got to grab another E-clip, put that on the top, just like that, and again, grab the pliers, snap that into place. So there is one of our piston rods ready to go. So we can now take this and slide this all the way through. Oh, actually, one thing I forgot to do is oil it up a bit, because that will be easier to slide that through. There we go. And then we have this X11 piece, and then it's going to attach to X1. Now I'm going to see how this turns on, whether this is, no, I think this is going to be not as easy as some of them. Well, it's not doing too bad, but I still know that that's going to have to be tightened up. So I'm going to grab my shock pliers and we'll turn this on. Now I'm going to the point where it won't really go any farther. So you can see that there's quite a bit of thread still showing. But when you're using the shock pliers and turning this on, there comes a point where it won't go any farther. So you can see there's quite a bit of thread left. But that should be it. So there is one complete. Let's do one more. And let's see. So again, we're going to take our O-ring, swirl it around my fingers in the oil, put that one in there. Grab another. Get the oil on there. Put that in the hole, just like that. So dry off my fingers again for a bit. And we're going to grab one of the end caps. And we're going to screw this on all the way, nice and tight. just like that. And grab one of our pistons, and I'm going to grab one of the E-clips. And again, we're going to put it on the bottom one, as you can see there. I'm going to use my finger as a brace and then snap it into place. Then we're going to grab our X10 piece, grab another E-clip, put that on the top, and snap it into place. There we go. Then oil up the piston, just like that. Take this, slide it down, putting it in the hole. There we go, just like that. And we're going to grab our end piece. Oops, sorry, the X11 piece. Just like that. And then the end here. And again, I'm just going to dry off my fingers a bit. I'm going to grab the shock pliers. And we'll spin this on as far as it will go. That's it. So there we go. So there is shock number 2. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the other one, then we'll quickly come back and move on to the next step. So there we have all 3 cylinders ready to go. So step 21 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 22, and we're going to fill these cylinders with the oil. So for step 22, dampers 2, well, this is where we're going to fill the cylinders with the oil. And of course, the main purpose of doing this is to obviously fill it with oil, but we've got to get the air bubbles out before we seal everything up. Otherwise, the oil-filled shocks don't work as they should. So there are the oil seals that we need for this. So I'll set this up and we'll put the oil in. So let's grab one of these cylinders and we're going to fill the oil. Now, what they want you to do is make sure that you pull this all the way down before you fill this. So let's fill this all the way up. And you pretty much want to go to the top. And now it's a matter of pushing this up and down. And see how the air is coming up from underneath it? But the goal with doing this is to remove the oil completely. Now I'm going to fill this even just a touch more, because you want the oil, you don't want the piston to come above the oil, because otherwise it's just going to suck back more air. So you want to be able to go up and down with this rod, removing any of the air that's below and pushing out anything that's on the top. Now notice that even the smaller air bubbles are starting to disappear because we're pushing that air to the top. Now this looks good to me. So we're going to seal this all up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a paper towel to wrap around the top, because what's going to happen is as soon as we put the oil seal on, the oil is going to obviously spill over. So we're going to push that on. There we go. Notice that the oil is now running down the sides. So we're going to try and collect all of that. Okay, and grab our top cap, and now we're going to tighten this down all the way. And there we go. Now I'm just going to dry this out a bit more. Here we go. And so there is one of our shocks. Now notice with this one, it kind of acts as a bit of a gas chamber, so it's wanting to push it back down. But once the springs and everything else are attached, it's going to give it some nice dampening. Very nice. Okay, so that's one. Now, you've seen what I've done here, so I'm just going to go ahead and do the other two. Then we'll come back quickly and we'll move to the next step. So there we have all 3 dampers filled with the oil, ready to go. So step 22 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 23. Do dampers 3 and basically just finish putting them together. So for step 23, dampers 3, we're going to finish the build here of the shocks, and you've got the X5 piece and a spring, and we just put it together. It's going to be pretty simple. But one of the things that's interesting, you'll notice here, they're not showing you putting in any of the spacers. So there are 3 spacers included with the kit. So there's a really thin one, a medium, and a large one, and they're all to do with helping with the ride height. Well, I may still end up using one, but because they're actually not mentioning it here, we're just going to build it stock and see how it looks, and we can make adjustments later. So there are the springs, there are the 3 X5 pieces that we need, and then of course our shocks. So I'll set this up and we'll put these on. So notice that the rear and the front, they're all the same. So this is going to be fairly simple. It doesn't matter which way you put the spring on. So we're just going to put that up there, pull it back, slide on this X5 piece, making sure that this part is facing down, slide it over, and then the spring will sit on top of that. And there we go. There is one of the shocks. And it's actually got quite a bit of spring back to this. So I guess that's going to work out just fine. So we'll do the other one. And again, these are... I'm not really sure why it's almost a separate step, because it literally is that easy. There's number 2. And put this one in. And there is number 3. Which feels good too. So there are our 3 finished oil-filled shocks. So step 23 is complete. So now we're going to move on to step 24 and attach the rear dampers.